Excellencies, distinguished participants, on behalf of Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, I welcome you all to this important continental platform, the 8th season of the African Regional Platform on Disaster Risk Reduction. The theme of this edition, the African Regional Platform towards risk-informed development for a resilient Africa, could not have come at a more appropriate time. Only a few days ago, IGAD inaugurated our Disaster Operations Center in recognition to the existing gap on risk information and early action when it comes to disaster response. This center, which have established with the support of the government of Italy, UNDRR, CIMA Foundation, and the African Union, hosts a multi-hazard early warning system for early action in the Greater Horn of Africa. Through this center, IGAD will be issuing regional early warning on slow and sudden onset disaster ranging from flooding, drought, desertification, food insecurity, pest invasion, and pandemics. As a region, IGAD is also prone to human-induced disasters triggered by conflict and instability. As we speak now, the recurrent flooding is driving displacement in IGAD region. Yet remarkably, at the same time, severe drought is affecting our part of the same region and threatening food security for millions of our brothers and sisters. This and other disaster risks have led to forced migration and increased risk of conflict over limited natural and state resources. Furthermore, Your Excellencies, the impact of these disaster risks compels societies and states to turn to ever more harmful coping mechanisms to maintain livelihoods that aggravates their exposure to even greater disasters. Excellencies, distinguished participants, climate-induced disasters are becoming prevalent in our region and continent. Disaster risk reduction is consequently a common agenda that demands our collective efforts in the spirit of global solidarity. This, therefore, calls for coherence in policy implementation between the Sendai framework, the Paris Agreement, and the SDGs. IGAD further advocates for the development of responsive policies, strategies, and action plans. In this regard, and in line with 2080 Tunis Declaration of the 6th High-Level Meeting on Disaster Risk Reduction, IGAD has revised its regional strategy for disaster risk management and aligned ourselves to priorities of the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction due for conclusion in 2030. IGAD has also put in place a regional framework for integration of climate change and disaster risk management, in addition to other sectorial strategies on flood risk management, Your Excellencies, gender and curriculum mainstreaming in disaster risk reduction and climate change adoption. Our priority as IGAD is to implement the regional strategy we developed with our member states and achieve the DRR targets. In order to safeguard the lives, livelihoods, and assets of our people from the adverse effects of disaster. Finally, I would like to call upon all stakeholders to act with sense of unity and urgency to tackle the risks posed by disasters that are growing in both frequency and intensity because of climate change and other risk drivers. I look forward to successful deliberations, the scaling up of commitments during this African regional platform and high-level meetings as we take another step toward formulating a development framework for Africa that is sensitive to disaster risks. I thank you.